Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be watching the video. This video. My name is Shio Bello. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you to everyone that sent me congratulations concerning my recently completed ICAN exams. God bless you. Thank you so much. Okay, so I had a whole lot of questions. I had so many questions in the comment section, so many comments in my DMs. Like I had a whole lot of questions from Twitter, from LinkedIn, and I just realized that there was no way I could answer every single person. So I decided, okay, I'll do a couple of videos, put them on YouTube, so I can always share with people. People can always go back to it, so that I don't repeat the same thing for over 100 people. Yeah, so I think that works. So then when you now watch the videos and it has answered like 70% of your questions, if you now have follow-up questions, you can always comment in the comment section. All right, yeah. So this is the first video I'm doing. This one is about ICAN exam. I'll still do subsequent videos. I think there's one slide that will show all the other videos. So let's go because I don't want this to exceed 6 minutes so that we can talk about everything we want to talk about in 6 minutes. Okay, so for today, we're going to talk about, I'm going to do a brief intro of myself. Um, I'm laughing because I saw a comment. Someone said life has failed me. God, I beg. So yeah, I saw a lot of comments. So I would just like to clear the air on that by doing a brief intro. Then I'll talk about what ICAN exam is. I'll talk about the levels in ICAN exam, tips for ICAN exam, and Twitter FAQs for the ICAN exam. All right, brief introduction. Okay, I'm Shion Bello. I graduated from Mechanical Engineering, University of Lagos in 2019. Yeah, with the CGP of I graduated with 2.1. Yeah, so um, then one way or the other, by God's grace, I'm in audit. I do audit and I do accounting. I've been in audit for about 3 years. Yes, it's 2022. So I'm going to do a whole video on transitioning and how the transition happened from engineering to audit. I'm going to do a whole video about it, right? But yeah, so I think we should just leave that out. So we can just let this video be majorly about ICAN exam. Yeah. So I wrote ICAN exam by God's grace in the first level, which is foundation level. I was the overall best in May 2023. Yeah. Then in the second level, which is skills level, I wrote it in May 2024. I was the third overall best. Yeah. So I know a thing or two about ICAN exam. All right. What is ICAN exam? So ICAN is the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. So basically, ICAN is a professional exam for those that want to be certified to practice accounting, right? Yeah. But there are some other people that do ICAN that are not really practicing accounting. They're practicing something else, for example, auditors or lawyers. But those things require understanding of accounting. So they will need to be chartered and get their ICAN. When you get your ICAN, they say you are chartered. Yeah. There's another one called ECCA. That one is wow, we're 4 minutes in already. I have to be faster. Okay, so there's another exam called ECCA. That one is like the ICAN for UK. Yeah, if I may put it that way. So wherever in the world you are, okay, in Canada, for instance, it's called CPA. So wherever in the world you are, I mean, once you get chartered, once you get the professional accounting certificate, you are called chartered. So yeah. So what ICAN uh, does is it takes you through 3 levels, and then at the end of the day, you become a chartered accountant. So this is the link to the website. If you go to the website and you want to be a student, so you just go to the student section, there's registration, exemption, all these things. If you join a tutorial center, all these things they will simplify it for you. They'll walk you through it step by step. Because I had a lot of those questions. I mean, when I was joining ICAN, it was a tutorial center that helped me understand what I needed to pay for, what I did need to pay for, all those kind of things. All these questions, you will need a tutorial guide. Yeah, someone that runs a tutorial center, or someone that helps people process their ICAN registration. Yeah. Okay, so that's ICAN. Okay, one more thing about ICAN is one more thing about ICAN and being chartered is, so you see when someone says Shion Bello ACA, right? Yeah, that means they're chartered. Yeah, it's always sweet to put it behind your name. Yeah, so that's the last thing I want to talk about, because some people, you see someone put ACA and you're like, what's that exactly? So there's this quote was on the slide, because I used the template of the slide. Uh, I go for Microsoft PowerPoint, and this quote was there already, and is actually a fantastic quote. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. There's a couple of, at least I have about 5 to 10 DMs that were like, oh, I want to start my ICAN, I want to start my ICAN, I want to transition into finance or accounting, I want to. You have to take the step, and for some of you, taking that step is watching this video. Is going to be watching subsequent videos I'll do, breaking it down, helping out to, things I wish people, questions I wish people answered for me, and questions that people actually answered for me before I got into accounting. So yeah, I'll cover that in subsequent videos. All right, so levels in ICAN exam. You have the foundation level. Then you have skills level, then you have professional level. So foundation level, you have 4 papers you write. Now, I won't be talking too much about those that came through, those that are accounting graduates. Because for accounting graduate, what they do is they can get some exemptions, and they will go and write at 8 years, and then they will join the skills level. I'm not 100% sure how that works. But for non-accounting graduates, you have to write almost every paper if you don't have exception. If you did something, let's say business, finance, business something, agri business, you might have 1 or 2 exemptions along the way. But for someone like me that came from a completely different background, I studied mechanical engineering. Um, I had to do every single paper. Yeah, and I can. While that might be a bit financially, and while that might be a bit financially stressful. Okay, so you have 3 levels: foundation, skills, and professional. You have 4 papers in foundation level. You have 6 papers in skills level. You have 5 papers in professional level. If you did something accounting inclined, definitely you have exemption in foundation and I think in skills level. So exemption means you won't have to write every paper. All right. Yeah, we're going to talk about strategies in the next session, but also it's important for you to know that, especially for those that have not started yet, even for those that have started, understanding a course to a very good extent is important for the next level, because usually, let me pick one. Management accounting, for instance, is not just about passing it at that level. When you pass management accounting and understand it to a good extent, at least 70%, right, it will help in how fast you understand performance management, which will now help in how fast you would understand strategic financial management, right? So that's how they move, right? That's how they move. You understand? That's how it moves. So it's just important for you. For example, also you have financial accounting. Um, how well you understand financial accounting will be a basis for financial reporting, because it's basically the same standards. They will just add one, or let's say 3 to 4, then they will add the reporting consolidation, right? Consolidation of accounts. Then they will now maybe expand the standards. It's basically, it builds up. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's one advice I'm already giving. I'm going ahead of myself. Our video is already, I think, 10 minutes, so I try to speed up. Right. Yeah. Tips for ICAN exam. I was supposed to spend time on this one. Maybe this video will be 15 minutes. So tips for ICAN exam. When I was about to start my ICAN, I have a friend, Kairat. She said something. I don't know if you can still remember. She said, that sometimes some people cheat their fellow students or colleagues ICAN, and they both write it, and the person that was teaching fails, and the person that was taught passed. That ICAN does not just come down to hard work and diligence. Prayer is also very important because, well, I don't know, right? I can't be sure, but I can say this for a fact. Most people don't finish the ICAN syllabus. I'm here to say anyone that read every single chapter, was ready for every single chapter. So what that means, and ICAN is funny, they can set from anywhere. That's the truth. So what that means is that if nobody has ever finished every single syllabus, it means that if I concentrate on, let's say, the first 10 chapters and they set from 11 to chapter 11 to 20. So honestly, right? I mean, prayer is so important. So consistency. This one is for my people, especially who are working and doing ICAN. You need to be consistent. See, I'm going to do a video on working and doing ICAN. It's that video, God will help us, because it's a passion of mine to help people. So I really need to do that video. You need to see, no matter how tired you are every day, no matter how worn out you are, if there's still some ounce of energy in you, when you come home, when you've rested, even if it is 30 minutes, just do. Even if it's one question, just solve. Consistency over time is better than, for this next 3 days, I'm going to do 24 hours, I'm going to read 24 hours. It's, it's important that you are reading every day. Later on, when it's close to exam, you can do your stretch reading and all. But before even exam comes, make sure every day you are reading. Every single day you are reading. Tutorials. See, you need tutorials for this ICAN. Because before you say Jack Robinson, if you are starting, if you started reading in January and you are not someone that has superb discipline, right? Before you cover what is not, there's some things that, based on experience, this tutorial people say, okay, don't leave this part, focus on this part, just to cut time, just to save time, because there's so much to do. So it's important you join a very good tutorial. I can recommend one for you though. So you can always ask me in the comment section. Strategy. I can, let's say, I think CR has about 37 chapters. That's corporate reporting. Is it CR or SFM? I think SFM has about 37 chapters, right? But I'm already giving away a tip. So, but the first tip I'll give away is when it comes to strategy. I'm still going to, in fact, this whole slide is going to be a whole topic because I'm just going to summarize it. But CR has 37 chapters. Yes, ICAN can set from anywhere, but there are some places they will definitely set from. Cost of capital, DCF, mergers and acquisition, valuation, for example, for SFM, they will definitely touch something there. So if you are starting your reading and you just start reading some other parts that they hardly come out, maybe they've come out once in the past 15 diets. By the time you now have, by the time it's now, let's say, closer to exam, you are now rushing the most important chapters. Already that is bound for failure. So strategy is so important. Start when you have the most strength. Start with the most important ones. Also, when doing that, it does not mean you will not skip. For example, DCF now, you now say, okay, because they don't usually ask the basis of DCF, they used to go to DCF and uncertainty and DCF and all that. Don't worry, if you're doing ICAN exam already, you will understand, especially for the professional ones. Don't worry, we'll still do subsequent videos that will break down all these things. In fact, I would probably do some videos on some topics, right? On how to read some topics and how to approach it. But if you've spent all your time, okay, so now, even though you now want, okay, because you know that out of all this DCF, it's only DCF and uncertainty that comes out a lot, right? You now decide to leave the basis of DCF, your strategy will still fail. Why? Because you can't understand DCF and uncertainty without understanding the basis of DCF. So it's a whole in order to become something, we say risk assessment is iterative. It's a whole iterative process. So don't say, okay, because Shion said you should focus on the most important chapters. You will not leave a chapter that is the basis of that important. You won't understand that chapter because the basis of that chapter would form how much you will now understand that other chapter. So if some chapters are linked together, you have to do them together. There's so many other tips for strategy, but let me just finish this video. Textbook and materials. I use ICAN text. I use some materials, but I majorly use ICAN text. So that ICAN text can be a bit more complex. Then I go online to YouTube. I use tutorial materials, but I majorly use ICAN text. Change. Okay, so it's important for you to know that your approach to one subject might not be the same. If you are doing a subject like PM and SFM, what would be expected of you is you will sit down in class for tutorials, you would read ICAN text, you will solve ICAN text questions, the textbook questions, you will solve tutorial questions, you will solve past questions, you will solve Omoleiwa, then you will revise all of them like as many times as you can before the exam. So you can see that is the approach for a subject like PM or SFM. If you come to a subject like FR and CR, you building so much like that will not give you basis. For FR and CR, you need to know your standard. If you want to read tutorial, read tutorial. If you want to read ICAN text, read ICAN. If you want to read the two of them, have your own notes that you will have combined the two of them and continue reading that. Because if you say you want to solve this and solve that and keep solving this and solving that, you will not have balanced, understood the standard properly, right? So you, for something like FR and CR, you need to, if it's from tutorial, from ICAN text, you're adding everything together, but have your notes. It's now your notes you will be revising. Your notes. You understand? You will be revising your notes, your standards, you get. Then you will solve past questions. Past questions always come out for CR and FR and FA. All right. In the exam hall also, hey, all these tips are so important. I'm always like, let me rush them. But this one forms, to me, this one forms 30% of your pass or fail if you have read to an extent. Most of the time when we see, okay, let me start with this. The only subject I ever got prize in, which is business law, by the time I finished the exam, I thought I had failed. I spent the next 4 weeks or 5 weeks before the result came out, adding every day. Okay, if I get 1 mark here and I get 2 marks here and I get, and my mom was like, hey. So, but at the end of the day, that's the one and I got best overall. Why? Because at the end of the day, what I did was when I felt okay, I was going to fail this thing, I just wrote my best for every single question. I just wrote my best based on my interpretation and what I had read and got to control. So now imagine if the moment I saw those questions, I just decided, I failed, let me just write anything. I would have failed. I would not know that there's a potential for me to pass. Most people will be like, no, you read. I won't say much on that, but that was the least I read. But the fact that I was like, okay, is like I won't pass this course. But I had 2 options. Either I write nonsense or I try my best and just write and write and write. And I sat down, I just kept writing. Do you understand? In the exam hall also, as the question is tough for you, it's tough for the other people too. The fact that they are writing does not mean they are writing something that makes sense. So you might even know more than them, and they are writing. And at the end of the day, people will pass. So if you that knows more than the other person, you are not writing anything, and other people are writing and they are writing nonsense, and they're able to pick 1 or 2 cents from their nonsense, at least they can still pass. So it's so important that you hustle. Because you have read this topic up and down, you are so sure of it, but you are trying to solve it's not working. You tried it, it's not working. You went, you came back, you tried it, it's not working. But there's one theory question that at least if you flex it, if you just write something, you can still get 50%. Why not go for that one instead in the exam hall also? Also, you need to sacrifice. I mean, we'll talk a lot more about this in a subsequent video where I'll just focus on this slide alone. ICAN, hey, ICAN. You will not go out, you will be going to for tutorial, you will miss wedding, your friends will be angry, family will be angry. We'll talk about that. Support system. You can't do ICAN alone. You need your family members or your friends to support you, because sometimes you will fall short of personal duties. You will feel like you can't do it. You feel like you need to give up, right? And for me, my wife and my family were those that, in fact, when I was going to write all 6 papers in skills, I already said I would do 6. Then later I told my mind I would do 4 because work was choking me. It was my wife that said I should do it. And I was like, you want me to fail? Hey, I don't know that you don't like me. At least let me do my 4 and pass. She was like, no, you can do it. Do you understand? Yeah. So in fact, and I'm behind that because I need to balance it. Behind that, and I went and sat down and calculated. Yeah, there's a way I calculated by God's grace how many hours I will need to put in every day to make it up. Don't worry, we'll dwell on this sacrifice part and this support system part a lot more. I want to finish the slides. Um, Twitter FAQs. Wow, this video is going to be 25 minutes. So hey, all right, 25 minutes is the last. Is the last. I'm currently, so I got this from my DMs or from the most of them are from my DM, but I think 1 or 2 came from the comment section. I'm currently preparing to sit for all 3 exams in skills level by November, but I have very serious issues retaining after reading. I lack confidence sometimes in what I'm doing. Can you share any YouTube tutorials, resources, past questions, or guide that can help me be more successful? So I think in skills there's like 3 or 4 courses. I think it's 3 courses or 4 courses that you have to read and read and read and read. There used to be CSME, which I'm sure they are now inculcating some of it. CSM is now, some of it is in SFM, and but I think some of it will also be in PM. I'm not sure, but you should check the new syllabus, right? I'll actually still check it and update in a subsequent video. But the thing about it is you have to read it and read it and read it and read it over and over and over and over again. Yeah, so there's this wrong assumption that a lot of people make, right? That most people that retain things, they read it once and they got it. That's only true for maybe 0.0005% of people. Most people that retain things read it several times. I think there's one study that if you want to retain something, you have to read it 27 times. You might not have to read it 27 times, but trust me, I mean, you can't read it once, twice, or 3 times and say everything must stick. So first of all, is your problem retaining or is your problem rereading and revising over and over again? If you understood it the first time, but then when you go back to it, it's natural because by the time you came back, it has probably gone somewhere in your head. You have to come back and revise it and revise it and revise it. I mean, if you are preparing for an exam, you need to have read something minimum of 3 times. The first time you will have just read and read and read. The second time you are coming back to really retain it, right? And well, we'll still talk more on such tips, but because I want to round up this video. How long did it take you for you to complete your ICAN exam? So you have ICAN Direct May and November. So if you write both in May and November, you can finish it in like, I don't know, 1.5 years. Yeah, if you pass everything in all levels. But for me, it took me 3 years. Why? Okay, not up to 3 years, because almost 3 years. Why? Because I was writing 1 paper every year. I wrote May 2023, May 2024, and May 2025. Right? Yeah. What opportunity has ICAN brought to you apart from personal development? Hmm. My work is to audit accountants. Accountants are certified by ICAN, so I think that answers itself. Yeah. So, but there's so many other opportunities ICAN can bring to you. Um, ICAN can help you to jackpot if you want to jackpot. ICAN can give you access to work in the biggest organizations in Nigeria and in the world. ICAN can so many opportunities. I mean, so many opportunities. So I don't want to dwell on that. Did I do ICAN classes? Yes, I did tutorial every step of the way. But like I always say, tutorial forms 30% of your success. 40% lies with you in reading and solving past questions. The last 30% lies in the exam hall, what you actually do and how you actually write. Um, you want to start ICAN from 8 years next diet. You don't know how to balance schoolwork and still add ICAN by the side. So I did go for tutorials. I did online tutorials throughout because I didn't have because of work, and I mean I can't be waking up early in the morning to go for physical tutorial. I have colleagues that do that because that's the mode that suits them, right? But for me, since I can concentrate online, I mean, so so yeah, for this balancing schoolwork and still add ICAN by the side, I will answer that in a subsequent video. So I have about 4 more videos coming out, but the first 3 will focus on transitioning into ICAN, into accounting or audit or finance, ICAN strategy for all levels, every single level. I have some tips to give out for free. Then there's going to be a video on work versus professional exams versus life balance. How do you manage to balance it? I already give you a teaser. There is no balance. It's going to be like this. It's not going to be balanced. Where's my other hand? It's going to be like this. It's going to be like this. Like this. Yeah, it's not going to be balanced. It's not going to be balanced. It's going to be like this. That's the first teaser. You will find a way to make it work, but it's never going to. There will be sacrifices. Wow. Yeah.